We're here at Connect Wealth today. Hey, my name is Dallas Clemyck. I'm an advisor here at Connect Wealth, joined by the Money Minute Man, Mike Erickson, here today. We're here in South Surrey, and we're here to kind of hash out the contents of an article that Mike Erickson just recently wrote. So, Mike, I'm 36 years old. I think you're about there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
So, are we old enough, because we're not quite up there yet, but we're not young, are we old enough to have experienced the good old days?
You know, I used to think I would never get a chance to experience the good old days. I remember growing up, chatting with my grandfather, and he would tell me about outrageously high mortgage rates, low cost of living, cheap gas. And I thought, am I going to experience this in our lifetime? And sure enough, at 36, I can still say that I've seen detached homes under $300,000, gas prices at 29 cents a liter, and most importantly, a 59-cent cheeseburger. So it's changed, obviously, in this interest rate environment we're in. But I guess time will tell is what the next phase looks like.
Mike, as I was reading what you had written, this article that's about to be released next week, you mentioned something called shrinkflation. And I didn't know if that was like a Money Minute with Mike term or if that's an actual thing. So what are your comments with that one?
You know, shrinkflation is a real word, and it actually is a reality of what's going on out there, and primarily in the goods section, any type of groceries, we're basically getting less bang for our buck. Contrary to shrinkflation, we've experienced a lot of inflation. We see it more or less in cost of living, whether that's the housing market, gas prices, cost of goods. Our grocery bills are going up. Everything has increased. And this inflationary environment we're in, I think, is here to stay.
So you touched on a couple things. So let's just say that, Mike, I wasn't in the industry that you are. So let's just say that I'm not a financial planner at all. It sounds like you're saying that inflation is related to kind of the cost of living going up, and then maybe we can't purchase as much. Is that basically what inflation is?
Yep, you nailed it on the head. Cost of living has increased across the board, which inherently just limits our purchasing power.
So practically speaking, what are 3 things that we could tweak in our own financial plans today, maybe over the next month, the rest of summer, to reduce the effects of inflation, to help preserve and hopefully retain our wealth when inflation is high and when markets are a little bit wobbly? What are 3 things that we could do?
Right off the bat, I know this is a painful exercise. I would focus on budget. That's really what it comes down to, is knowing what your fixed costs are versus your variable costs. Must-haves versus wants. So look at your budget, look at your discretionary spending to see where there's opportunity for you to save and be more budget conscious. Secondly, I would say review your financial plan. Most times clients will put together a plan. There'll be action items associated with that. But then life happens. So that's always a good time to review your financial plan, make sure your budget's on track, make sure that you're being able to afford your lifestyle, and perhaps, look at your subscriptions and see where some of those small saving wins could be.
And Mike, and maybe I'm speaking to you who's viewing this too, but personally, I actually really hate the term budgeting. I just don't like it because what it says to me is it's kind of a limiting word. And when I hear the term budgeting, it's almost like I'm being forced to restrict my spending and not kind of control it myself. And so what I've done that has kind of worked wonders in my own financial life is to actually call it a spending plan. And so it's a financial strategy, and I get to dictate my plan for spending. So I kind of just like the word. So if that's helpful to you as the viewer, feel free to. That one's free. I'm not going to bill you for that one. All right. So Mike, that's great, really great advice. Next question is, where should we be getting our financial news these days?
That's a good question. Anywhere you look, any social media platform, any news right now, it's negative. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of noise in the markets. Work with an investment professional, someone who eats, breathes, sleeps finance. And that's what we do with our money managers. We hire money managers who are chartered financial analysts, that their sole job is to dictate the market, be ahead of the curve, be strategic, be tactical. Reactionary decisions don't tend to be great decisions when you don't do that for a living. I often liken it to a profession that I don't know anything about. I'm not about to pretend to know. So focus on what you can control. I feel strongly about that. There is a lot of noise politically, in the investment world, in this interest rate environment we're in. Focus on what you can control. Know what's coming in, know what's going out, and try to stay off platforms that are going to bog you down with advice.
Would it be an astute assumption to say that what you're saying is it might be a good idea to consult a professional rather than read the latest article about the Dow Jones on CNBC?
I think you're bang on right there.
All right, sounds good. Now you mentioned our money managers that we've aligned ourselves with at Connect Wealth. How have they been doing during this kind of market wobbliness, and what strategies have they been using just at a very surface level during these times?
Yeah, great question. One thing I will comment on is our money managers' philosophy never changes. They stick true to their core principles and they don't react based on reactionary events. Less is more. What I mean by that is they have a certain number of companies in various sectors that they focus on. Quality over quantity. They're high quality businesses that pay dividends. What we like about that is stability and predictable cash flow. And so our clients aren't as concerned with the volatility because they know the companies they own are good companies. They pay dividends, which increase their dividends over time. So lastly, I'd say stay the course. It's not for a short time, it's a long time. So always keep the macro picture in mind.
You just answered my next question. That was going to be, is now a good time to actually time the market as an investor? Is it true that the markets are on sale?
I'm probably going to get flack for this next comment, but the age-old saying is time in the market, right? Not timing the market. The challenge is when you look at the stock exchange versus real estate, you can make reactionary decisions with your portfolio that could have drastic outcomes. Real estate is hard. It's a fixed asset. You can't just push a button and make a decision on a whim. So I would say time in the market. Secondly, I would say, yes, if you're a younger investor, this is almost like shopping at Winners. Markets are down. In this latest article I posted, this has been the third worst quarter since the inception of the stock market.
Wow.
Which is wild. And the following quarter has historically rebounded. So I always take a grander perspective of when do you plan on retirement? Has anything materially changed in your world? And just stay the course.
Sounds like it comes back to the financial plan, right?
It does.
Okay, awesome.
It does.
Just a couple more questions here for you. At a very high level, what are some of the questions that maybe pre-retirees or established families or retirees should be looking at their financial plans, and what are some of the questions that they should be asking themselves right now?
Yep. One, I'd say know your cash flow. Know what you need to live off of and what your fixed costs are. Secondly, I would say, when do you plan on retiring? Set goals. Have a goal in mind that whether it's an age you want to retire or a dollar amount you want to retire. And then behind the scenes, we can break down the mechanics of executing what a plan looks like. Don't be reactionary. I'm big on a phrase we call dollar cost averaging. And simply put, that's adopting a strategy where you're consistently making pre-authorized contributions on a monthly basis in the market. So you're not timing the market, you're not being reactionary, you're staying the course. And from a budgetary standpoint, it's almost like a mortgage in that sense, is you know what's coming every month, that you're putting X amount of dollars into your portfolio that hopefully aligns with either the dollar amount you're looking to achieve or the time frame in which you're wanting to retire.
That's some good advice. Hey, Mike, as we tie things up, if people are looking at this video and they're thinking, maybe I'd like to meet the author of this fine blog article, give them a call. How can viewers get a hold of us?
Feel free to reach out, email at mike@connectwealth.com, dallas@connectwealth.com. Our job is to make financial decisions easy.
Also on that note, feel free just to Google us. We're located, we have a brick and mortar location at the South Point Exchange in South Surrey. So pop in, we'd love to say hello to you. Also, our office telephone number is 604-542-4298. So that's it. Hopefully this video content has been helpful as you kind of navigate the next phase of your financial journey. Let us know if we can be of service to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks for checking into the Money Minute. See you next month.